We play a lot of games. We really do, but there's some really shameful ones on our shelf of shame. Things that have been there for way too long. We've got to get these ones played.
What's up, everybody? I'm Mike.
I'm Nick.
We are the Brothers Murph, and yes, we have some Shelf of Opportunity games. It's not shameful. It's just there's.
Oh, it's shameful.
There's some that are there's honestly some that have been on the.
There's a couple
way
that
too
are
long.
shameful. Yeah, there's a couple.
Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, so these would be games on our Shelf of Opportunity, shame, what do you want to call it? These are games that are in our collection we have not played yet.
Yeah.
It always seems to happen. You know, it's a new game. You have to relearn a whole thing.
We try.
And sometimes you're like, gosh, that's still there. We still haven't played that.
It's got a lot of dust on it.
Good. But these are our top 10 Shelf of Shame Opportunity games. Number 10 is based off a video game, and this is Sniper Elite, the board game, because Sniper Elite is a video game. This is a one versus all game, but apparently also has a very, very good solo mode. And so I really do need to try this one and get it off, at least get it off the Shelf of Shame for me, because it's got a good solo mode. But Sniper Elite is a game where it's a one versus all game, and the one is the sniper, and the rest are all German soldiers. And you are basically moving around all hidden like, and you're basically trying to take out these German soldiers. And so it's really, really kind of cat and mouse, hidden movement, high tension, because again, if you're that one, you're just sneaking around, trying not to get seen. There's like a bag manipulation element, which basically kind of, I think, determines whether or not you hit whenever you're shooting and things. And so it's really, really high tension. I know our good friend Paula Deming freaking loves this game. And so I really, really want to try it because it comes so highly recommended to her. And we have it and the expansion. We just haven't had a chance to play it. I really want to play it at least with 3. And a lot of times it's just Mike and I. And I know we can play it that way, but I really, really want to have a higher player count because one versus all games just tend to work better at those higher player counts. But I really want to try Sniper Elite because I hear it's very good.
Number 9 is Imperial Steam. This is a big train game that we have yet to try, that I've heard is really heavy and a game where you have to get off to a really good start. You have to get out the gate, build these routes out and stuff well, get your engines going. This is a game that I'm intrigued by because I just like train games in general. I think that they're always interesting. I like when you have there's often an economic element to it that I think is interesting, some sort of company. You're dealing with, maybe upgrading your engine so you can go further and further. The route building aspect about where do I want my routes to go to, it just creates a lot of things that are fun to munch on. And of course, I'm not alone in that. There's a lot of very popular train games. So Imperial Steam is just one that, based off of other games I've played, I want to try this one, and hopefully it'll be one that we enjoy, but we'll have to see.
Number 8 is kind of weird that we haven't tried it because it's not going to be a heavy game, and this is Shelfie Stacker. Shelfie Stacker is by Arkus Games, but it's also by Shem Phillips, who works with Arkus Games as well. But Shem Phillips is one of our favorite designers, and somehow we have not played Shelfie Stacker. This is just a simple game where you are going to be drafting out dice. There's going to be dice that go onto these kind of a Zool style, these kind of like different depots, and you're trying to build out your shelf. And you're going to be putting these dice in kind of columns on your shelf, and there's specific ways that your shelf can and cannot be built out, and there's kind of like a little side shelf, I think, for like excess, if you have any excess. It's just gonna be a simple, nice, puzzly game by Shem Phillips, and I know that, and somehow we've just never played it. We've had it for like a year and a half. I don't know how we haven't played this one, but honestly, like, we should play it just because it's Shem Phillips alone. Shem Phillips is amazing. He's one of our favorite designers. He's a really nice guy. And Arkus Games does really, really good, like, family weight games that tend to have more depth than you're thinking. And so Shelfie Stacker should be a slam dunk, and we just really need to try it, and we just haven't.
Number 7 is Arabella. This is an 18xx roll and write game. So I mentioned in number 9 with Imperial Steam that I enjoy train games. And 18xx games are one that I've been intimidated by. It just seems like you really got to know what you're doing and stuff. And I've been hesitant to dive in. as a result. I'm sure it'd be fine if I did, but you know, I've just been a little hesitant. And when I saw that they're doing a roll and write version of an 18xx game, that felt like, okay, maybe this is the jumping in point, because it's probably gonna be pretty beefy for a roll and write game, but maybe it'll give me the opportunity to, you know, learn some of the customs of these types of games. 18xx games fall into certain kind of categories and things you're gonna see heavily economic, you know, you're managing stocks and businesses and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, maybe this will be a little bit easier to grok, to get into, that makes me feel a little more confident to hop into an 18xx game and see how I like it. Maybe I'll like it, maybe I won't, but I've been stuck, you know, not able to kind of dive in and try it because I'm just worried about how hard it's gonna be. So this is the one that I was super intrigued by. I like the look of it. It just hasn't hit the table yet.
Number 6 is gonna be on this. We're probably gonna do this list every couple of years, right? We've done it before. We're gonna do it again and stuff. And Belfort is gonna be on that list every single time. I just know it. We were given this game like 4 years ago. It's by far the game that's been on our shelf of shame the longest. Belfort is a worker placement area control game where every player has elves, dwarves, and I believe gnomes. And you are placing out your workers, and the workers can do different stuff. So the elves can like harvest wood because they're like wood elves, and then the dwarves can harvest like stone because they're out there mining. And if you send a elf and a dwarf, you can get some metal, and then you can always get gold. And you're basically, I think it's like a pentagonal board, and you're basically doing like area control in these different areas, and you do that through these different workers. And I believe your workers can upgrade as well. Again, we've never played the game, but I believe that's how it works. And it seems good. It seems good. And for some reason, we have just never played it. It's been sitting, it's become, the shame of this one has sunk in so much that I feel so bad about not playing it that I just can't take it off the shelf and learn it. But someday we will. But here's the thing, next time we do this list, I really hope Belfort is not on there, because if we do this list in like 2 more years and Belfort is still on there, that's really bad. We should just give it to somebody. I don't know, but the game seems really cool. It's an old tasty Minstrel game. It seems like it's got cool mechanics, and we just haven't played it. We really, really need to.
Number 5 is In the Year of the Dragon by Stefan Feld. This is a game that I had heard about, and then I saw a used copy at a game store, and it was in perfect condition. All the pieces are there and everything. So I was like, well, let's give it a go. Is it 20 bucks or something? So I bought it, learned it, didn't play it, have forgotten it now. But I'm excited to learn again, because it is a game where you are trying to manage disasters through a year. Every month is going to give you some challenge that you have to overcome, and it's really about finding ways to overcome these, you know, kind of ongoing setbacks and find a way to be prosperous anyway. I think it's a really kind of interesting idea. You are kind of trying to prepare for maybe what's to come, and you're not going to know what's happening until it's kind of happening. So you're trying to be prepared, make sure you can overcome that, and still find a way to be kind of victorious and stuff, which just seems like an interesting theme. So it's one that, you know, as a classic designer like Stefan Feld, a game that I wanted to try, and the theme was intriguing, and it just hasn't happened yet. But I remember when I was reading it, I was like, this is actually going to be, I think, really challenging and really kind of cool. So hoping that is true when we do finally play it.
Number 4 is a game that we actually have like most of the content for, and that's Chronicles of Crime. Man, we need to play Chronicles of Crime. We've always heard such good things about Chronicles of Crime. This is a Lucky Duck game, and Lucky Duck games, you don't know, a lot of their games have an app element to them, and this very much is one of those. They've done a lot of these kinds of games at this point. But this is a game where you are solving a crime, and you're gonna be doing that by going to different locations and taking cards. All the cards are gonna have QR codes on them, and you're gonna be scanning them in the app, and then it's going to give you the information from that card, that piece of evidence, whatever it is you found. And there is a whole bunch of content. There's a whole bunch of content of like, where you're like in ancient times trying to solve crimes and all these different things. There's so much, and we have a ton of it. and we just haven't ever sat down and played it. And I really, really want to, because we've played some of the other Lucky Duck games that have this kind of QR code where you are going around finding out information using the app. They're always so, so cool. And for some reason, we haven't played Chronicles of Crime, despite us hearing that from all those kind of like detective Chronicles of Crime, those kind of like crime solving games, it's one of the best, if not the best, we've heard from people. And so we really, really need to try it. And we just haven't. And we have so much content for it. And we just really need to sit down and start playing through it.
Number 3 is the Gallerist. This is another Vital Lacerda game. Nick and I have been kind of venturing into, the world of heavier gaming just naturally throughout the last couple of years, but then really diving into Lacerda's games and finding out which ones work for us and things like that. So the Gallerist, we have always kind of heard, is the most approachable Vital Lacerda game. They said, like, if you're going to start somewhere, start with the Gallerist, and then you can head into other games and stuff, and you might be well set up and stuff. So we haven't done that. We're going backward. We've gone through many other games. Now we're going backward toward the Gallerist. But it's one that thematically we love. You are running an art gallery, which is a super cool theme for a game. As Nick being an artist and me appreciating art, it's something that is like near and dear to us. And I think it's just a really cool idea of, having to manage something like an art gallery just seems really cool. So Lacerda's themes are always really interesting, and the Gallerist is definitely way up there for us in terms of one of the ones that we're most intrigued by. And from what we hear, it's a little bit easier to get into, maybe a little bit lighter for a Lacerda game, I'll say. That's not a filler game per se. But yeah, one that we wanted to try. So we have it on the shelf. It's gonna happen eventually. It's just, hasn't happened yet.
Number 2, we're gonna be playing, I have a hunch, very soon. So hopefully it won't be on this list very long, but that is Terra Mystica. We finally got Terra Mystica. We've wanted to play it for years, literally years. And we finally got it, and we just haven't gotten to the table yet. We've only had it for a couple months. So it's this high on the list because we're very, very excited to play this one. Terra Mystica is a game where you are going to have a faction like dwarves or something like that, and they are going to have a land type that only they can build on. I can't quite remember what the dwarves is, but let's just say it's mountains, because that would make sense for dwarves, right? So you can only build your stuff on those mountains. And so one of the main actions you can do is terraform. You can terraform a field into like a forest, and then a forest into a mountain, and then now you can build on there. So that's what you're doing, is you're going around the board and you are terraforming spots so that you can build on them. The problem is everyone else is also doing that. Everyone else is also terraforming stuff to make it look for their faction, because only they can work on the field. So they're constantly turning things over to fields to build their stuff. And you're kind of chaining your buildings together. Your buildings are going to do different things. And then every single faction is also going to have special abilities. And those special abilities are going to be completely different from each other faction, and you're basically trying to work those special abilities. We have played Terra Nova, which is like the lighter version of Terra Mystica. It's kind of, I want to say like the family version. It's still a bigger game than like a family game, but it's the much lighter version. And we've actually played Age of Innovation, which is like the most recent kind of Terra Mystica type game, and we really liked both of those, especially Age of Innovation. So Terra Mystica is going to be happening very soon. I believe it's going to happen very soon. I'm really, really excited to play because I like Age of Innovation. I like Terra Nova. Mike has played Gaia Project, loves that game, which is kind of Terra Mystica in space. So Terra Mystica is going to happen soon. I feel it in my bones.
Number 1 is Tricarion. This is a game that I have wanted to try, both of us have wanted to try this, forever. For the longest time, I thought it was a Vital Lacerda game. It is not. But I knew that it was of that ilk. It's a big, heavy Euro game centered around magic, doing magic, which I love magic so much. I think it's so fascinating. My Instagram algorithm is very skewed toward people doing close-up magic, which I'm not embarrassed about, mind you, I'm proud. So Tricarion is, you are a master, or I guess hoping to become a master illusionist. and putting on shows and things like that, and learning and getting better with your skills. I think literally Magic is one of the most impressive things because of just the technical ability you have to have, the amount of practice that goes into sleight of hand and stuff like that. I think it's just masterful. It's a wonderful, fun art form, and that has so much kind of showmanship to it too. Yeah, so thematically alone with Chicurel, I've been hooked forever. We have the fancy version over there. It's just another one that falls in the category of like young child, hard to have a lot of time to sit down and learn something and play it. When am I gonna find the time? So as always with these lists, so many games, so little time, how can we possibly get to them all? But that is one that is, again, it's number one for a reason. It's the highest on our like priority list. So those are some games that we have in our collection that have been sitting there for a while that we just have not got played.
Yeah, some of them I know will get played soon. I got a hunch.
Yeah, so what we want from you in the comments. One, which of the games that we listed today you think is like, you got to get this done first and foremost?
What should we play from this list?
Because our list is just our list, but tell us if our list is wrong, because we want to know what we need to prioritize here. And we also want to know from you and your collection, if you have any, what are some games that you're like, this has been sitting a while and I haven't played it and I probably should get that done. Let us know in the comments below, all right?
Yeah. Until next time, I'm Nick.
I'm Mike.
We're the Brothers Murph. We'll see you later, everybody.